pas SMA deh pokoknya.
Yeah.
Ada satu cowok, aku crash outnya parah banget. Crashed out so bad. Tapi karena crash outnya parah banget, that was when I first started modeling.
I do remember the story.
Do you know the story? You know the story! Hello semuanya, welcome back to Delete Later with me, your host Fiza Han. Dan hari ini kita bersama dengan teman aku, Ariel.
Hi.
How have you been? Gimana?
Okay.
Apa kabar?
I've been doing good. Nggak apa ya? I mean, I think nowadays it's a bit of a hard time to live, right? Or apa? Maksudnya kayak bukannya hard per se, tapi ya ada-ada aja nggak sih nowadays? When it comes to our lives, kayak there's just something going on that isn't always the best. Tapi ya, I keep going, I keep persevering, and I don't know. Nggak, maksudnya you know how it is.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be better, but you know what?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. We keep rolling.
Ya, mau gimana lagi?
Iya.
Right.
Bener. Mungkin aku mau tanya ya.
Okay.
Kita pura-pura kayak, let's take a look back. Kalau misalnya 10 tahun lalu, kamu ditanyain, kamu bakal ngapain?
10 tahun lalu berarti I was 14, SMP. Oh, we haven't met each other.
No.
We haven't.
Belum.
14 years old me probably would say like udah nggak tinggal di Jakarta paling.
That's your only goal, kayak keluar dari Jakarta.
At the time definitely kayak I couldn't see myself masih tinggal di Jakarta sih.
Yeah.
Kayak ya enggak, karena apa ya, selalu pengen kabur aja dulu. Enggak, just kidding. Maksudnya ya apa, ya maksudnya apa ya, nggak kepikiran aja bakal masih di Jakarta. Karena kayaknya tuh when you've been in a certain place for so long, at least for me ya.
Yeah.
Maksudnya ya, everyone's different, tapi kalau kayak for me aja, udah lama banget di Jakarta, and then seeing everything that has happened, or like seeing everything that comes and goes, and of course Jakarta, ada aja yang baru, ada aja yang comes and goes, like I said, so like I don't see myself living here forever. Dan pikirannya sih pengen udah bakal keluar Jakarta ya kalau masih 15 tahun. But then again, what do you know? Masih SMP, bocah.
Yeah.
Like you literally nggak tahu apa-apa. Like,
Yeah.
what does he know?
Jujur, tapi aku juga kayaknya waktu sekitar umur segitu, kayak jawabannya juga, one, itu dokter.
Oh.
2, juga gak di Jakarta. Karena mungkin, I don't know, tapi kayak it has changed so much for me. Karena sekarang malah aku suka banget dengan Jakarta dan gak mau tinggal.
I know that about you. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone thinks that I'm so weird for that. Everyone's like, kamu bisa keluar negeri tapi gak mau. Kenapa? Tapi I'm like, I don't know, I love Jakarta. I love the way that I like the hustle and bustle of the city.
You do.
I do, and I've grown to love it.
Good for you, Good for you. I mean, like, I'm apa ya, kayak to each their own.
Yeah.
Tapi kayak when it comes to Jakarta, like the things you mentioned, kayak hustle bustle-nya, kayak hustle culture-nya, even kan orang-orang yang kayak apa ya, macet-macetan pulang kantor, commuting, terus juga polusinya yang, let's be honest, it's not the greatest, it's not the best. Kayak there's actually so many reasons that I could list sebenarnya when it comes to Jakarta. Tapi I do admire you for your capacity to like, apa ya, kayak you romanticize these things, but not in the like a way yang kayak bad. I'm not saying this like a negative thing. If anything, I like, if only aku juga bisa romanticize Jakarta the way that you do. Karena daripada my way perhaps of looking at Jakarta, kayak sekarang jujur aja capek sih.
Yeah.
Kayak dengan hustle, bustle, kesibukannya, huru haranya itu tuh jujur lama-lama capek. Tapi ya, makanya kayak this is something that I aspire to, you know, kayak one day maybe I could like look at Jakarta in a better way daripada sekarang. Sekarang sih jujur kayak capek. Capek, period.
Tapi ya mungkin kayak, I think emang kayak beda orang, beda pendapat. Karena this can also lead to another topic, which is also about toxic productivity.
Gosh.
Do you feel kayak di hari-hari sekarang itu kayak selalu harus produktif? Kayak rasanya kayak kalau lagi gak produktif itu kayak
Oh my god.
kayak lagi hidup buang-buang hidup gak sih? Kayak is that how you feel?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, gimana ya? Toxic productivity, I think it goes back yang tadi aku bilang tentang hustle culture,
Iya kan?
right? Kayak hustle culture sendiri itu kan maksudnya konotasinya harus selalu hustling.
Iya.
Kalau nggak hustle, lo nggak apa-apa. Okay, you're nothing
Iya.
basically, right? And then toxic productivity is basically the same concept, tapi I think it's more to like the apa ya kayak habit ya.
Iya.
Kalau hustle culture is more yang kayak ke semua orangnya, toxic productivity lebih kayak individu, secara
Iya.
level individu. Dan I think it's also because kayak udah apa ya, udah kayak ngakar banget di otak or like in everyone's minds lah ya.
Yeah.
Jadi kayak once you're not doing something or you're not doing something yang lo rasa orang-orang ya, bukan lo sendiri bahkan orang-orang bakal validasi sebagai sesuatu yang produktif. You start to like beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
Kayak malah bakal jatuhnya tuh malah bakal kayak kesel sendiri, start to like kayak self hatred, self hate.
Yeah.
It's so bad dan jujur aja aku juga I've been a victim of it atau mungkin bahkan sampai sekarang. Tapi it's not something yang sustainable.
Yeah.
Pastinya.
Yeah.
That's why kayak you need to get yourself out of it. And that is also why I'm not so keen on like tinggal di Jakarta sih sebenarnya kalau ada pilihan.
I get it. Tapi jujur ya, karena I'm like the opposite, I would say. Karena kalau bukan ke toxic, maybe it is a bit of toxic productivity, tapi kayak aku kalau kayak gak always doing something, kalau gak selalu lagi kerja, itu malah aku jadinya kayak jatuh kayak agak sedih, agak depresi. And I don't know if that's because of the system that maybe like the hustle culture built in. Tapi kayak jadinya whenever I'm busy, I'm my happiest self. Kalau lagi bener-bener sibuk to the point that it's just like when I go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Karena that's the one thing that rest is taken for granted if you are not always busy.
Jujur kalau nggak ada busy, rest is just nggak ngapa-ngapain.
Ya kan? Kayak jadinya kayak rebahan doang.
Yeah.
Kayak jadinya kayak gak enak juga kan?
I agree with that, tapi I think karena keberadaan hustle culture, toxic productivity ini itu yang udah sangat mengakar
Iya.
in our society kan ya. Jadi kayak when you advocate for rest or when you advocate for slow living or like lebih intinya pace-nya di apa ya, di slowin lah ya.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing gitu loh. Karena kayak yang udah ada atau yang udah sekarang ada gitu tuh udah orang-orang udah kebawa sibuk, kebawa arus, kebawa ini itu. There's always something gitu loh.
Yeah.
Jadi when you start to go a bit more for that slow living or like a bit kayak mental health breaks.
Yeah.
Jujur itu sih kata kuncinya, mental health.
Yeah.
Yang kayak like I don't think your body is supposed to take all of that stress, all of that pressure.
Yeah.
Kayak semua tekanan-tekanan apalagi sekarang kayak dari social media.
Oh,
Gosh, I could go on for hours gituannya aja nggak sih? Jadi kayak I think it's okay sih.
Yeah. It is. Especially, interesting that you mention kayak social media. Karena, dulu orang-orang itu kayak kalau mau pikirin kayak who to compare themselves to, itu mereka pikirinnya kayak you're just your next door neighbor, Bobby from down the street. It's just your closest environment. Tapi sekarang, we have access to so much information. You can see, for example, 16-year-olds becoming millionaires.
Oh my god. Kayak this 14-year-old got $1 million by hacking Bitcoin or like stocks. Itu nggak sih?
Exactly. Like we see all that, and then my mom sends it to me sometimes.
It's like WhatsApp.
Literally the WhatsApp
copy
chat
pastas.
selalu,
Yeah,
and it's
kan?
just like
Yeah.
forwarded.
Yeah.
Just like look at this kid. Tapi ya kayak we have access to so much information, it's so easy to compare ourselves. And not only, bukan hanya untuk orang-orang yang ya jauh seperti itu, tapi juga orang yang deket kita juga sekarang. Karena kita bisa lihat misalnya, oh semua orang lagi kayak nikah, lari maraton, naik jabatan, S2. Aslinya kayak semua orang lagi gitu. And then it can feel hard sometimes not to feel kayak stuck and left behind. How do you feel about that?
Feeling left behind, that's the key sih. Kayak
Yeah.
it's like you feel left behind karena it seems like everyone. First of all, social media is so bad. It's so like everyone just compares themselves. Dan jujur aja kayak when you start to compare yourself, that's the end.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. Or like at least that's the beginning of the end of everything. Karena kayaknya orang-orang tuh suka lupa kalau di social media people tend to post the best version of themselves, if not always.
Yeah.
The best version kan. Kayak bukannya yang misalkan kayak lagi ke apa ya Indomaret, Alfamaret gitu loh, yang lagi mereka bentukannya belusukan tapi butuh beli telur atau butuh beli apalah gitu loh. You know? Kayak kan nggak mungkin ya mereka nge-post gituan, karena that's just like something yang mungkin menurut mereka bukan the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Dan menurut saya kan jadi kayak ada template-nya gitu. Terus you in your bed misalkan lagi udah baru mau tidur terus lagi nge-scrolling IG gitu kan, story orang, post-postan orang lah, or even TikTok ya tau lah apa ya. Terus lo apa ya, maksudnya maybe baru pulang kantor, you feel like you feel less than.
Iya, mungkin visualnya beda ya.
Iya beda gitu loh, kayak you don't feel good gitu loh, kayak lagi baru pulang kantor capek, terus ngeliat orang lagi misalkan lagi liburan.
Aduh, itu paling nyesek sih.
Iya kan, nyesek. Dan kayak misalkan dia mungkin aja lu nggak tahu dia baru liburan setelah sekian lama apa nabung cuti gitu kan, atau baru sekarang bisa. Tapi karena lo lagi apa ya, lagi kondisinya lagi nggak enak, terus mesti ini kayak ya gitulah kan ya, lagi like you're not in the best state gitu, and then you compare yourself to someone who is portraying themselves as if they are at their best.
Yeah.
Ya nggak mungkin dong, kayak that's not fair to them or you gitu loh.
Benar sih.
Ya kan.
Benar. Iya, karena even me I think kayak my life as a content creator, I mean it's what I do, kayak almost my main source of income is from that. And kayak aku suka banget, kayak one of my goals is to always look as unemployed as possible on social media.
That's crazy.
Tapi kayak itu cuman kayak di social media, aslinya you don't see me doing my Excel sheets, you don't see me doing that. Of course I'm not gonna post it.
Ya kan.
Like,
it's not glamorous. Why would you post it?
Kayak siapa yang mau lihat juga kayaknya.
Makanya, iya.
Ya kan.
Tapi ya dengan itu orang-orang pasti bakal fokusnya dengan apa yang bisa mereka lihat, to which yang mereka lihat itu ya hal-hal yang bahkan udah you've curated gitu kan. Dan it's not fair to anyone. Tapi makanya kayak orang-orang need to realize at the same time in apa ya, walaupun apa yang mereka lihat itu semua it's so glamorous and all that, kayak I don't think it's like you misalkan ya as a content creator's responsibility, kayak itu bukan tanggung jawab lo, tapi merekanya juga yang juga harus sadar kayak si Fiza bisa kayak gini-gini mungkin ada something apa ya, maksudnya kayak ada kerja kerasnya juga ya gitu. Dan mungkin that is a part of your responsibility, maybe not. Menurut aku sih enggak, karena kayak you don't have to prove anything to people.
Bener sih.
In my opinion.
Tapi benar sih, karena social media, I feel like a lot of people now itu mereka merasa kayak orang harus kasih mereka sebanyak informasi.
Right.
Ya kan?
Kacau sih ya, bagi kalau kayak udah kalau influencer atau namanya gede. To be fair memang mungkin kayak mata pencarian lo tuh it comes from the people gitu kan, orang-orang yang lo follow, yang subscribe, yang ngasih apa ya, gifts kalau live, I don't know, kayak so, I don't know, maksudnya mungkin kan jadi kayak lo ngerasa ada a certain kayak iya sih, karena ya mereka basically client gitu kan, your followers or your clients gitu. At the same time I think kalau dengan social media it's like it's a whole different thing, kayak just because kayak I think there's a limit lah, ada batasannya antara what you do display and what you don't. Jadi kalau misalkan hal pribadi kayak misalkan tadi you say kamu kayak kelurahan gitu kan. Do we spell that story? Oh,
no, it's privacy. It's privacy, guys.
It's private. Kayak lo harus tahu dia ngapain ke kelurahan. All you need to know is like dia ke kelurahan udah gitu aja. Kayak that's not even sorry.
Dan juga siapa mau lihat aku ke kelurahan?
Exactly.
Siapa yang mau vlog? Come to the kelurahan.
jujur makanya jadi kayak it's kayak with these privacy things orang-orang just need to mind their own business. Kayak ya udah sih biarin aja visa ke kelurahan. Lo harus tahu dia ngapain ke kelurahan gitu kan. Kayak gitu, sesimpel itu.
Okay. Yes guys, I go to the kelurahan. I know I don't look like somebody, but
Surprise.
what could I be doing? Ya siapa tahu lagi daftar. What's it called? What was it called?
Daftar apaan? What are you trying to daftar? Registrasi.
Pernikahan. Siapa tahu? Gak ada yang tahu kan?
I don't think you do that. Oh, okay. Anyways. Okay.
You don't do that untuk kelurahan.
Ngapain?
Where do you register to get married?
Pengadilan agama nggak sih? Itu enggak ya?
Kemana
Aduh,
ya?
Nggak tahu lagi. Jujur nggak tahu. Oke.
Orang kalau mau nikah kemana?
Nggak tahu.
This will make a great clip for TikTok.
It might. I don't want to get married sih sebenarnya juga.
Oh really? Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Jadi gimana rasanya kayak semua orang lagi mau nikah? Like semua orang lagi nikah kayaknya sih. Kayak belakangan ini kayak apalagi this past 2 months semuanya lagi Bali. That's what you see.
Kayak lagi musimnya nggak sih?
Iya.
Kayak tanggalnya or something kayak ada ya. Honestly, awalnya it freaked me out, but mostly because kayak orang-orang yang nikah itu orang-orang yang literally kayak I went to school with or like kayak misal atau apa ya kayak intinya I knew them pas mereka tuh masih bocah gitu loh.
Yeah.
Mereka kayak pakai baju adat, terus kayak nikah, terus kayak ada acara kondangannya, which in my context at least I know these parties atau kayak kondangan itu kayak teman-teman orang tua gue gitu, atau kayak kerabat atau kayak keluarga yang kayak a lot older. Jadi kayak bukan in my realm, right? But then to see these people yang comes from my realm atau kayak yang kayak ini kenalan aku gitu loh, dan aku pagi kenalan mereka pas masih bocah, and to see them nikah awalannya itu lebih shock sih sebenarnya. It's like kayak what is this? Oh, that's like this is crazy, you know. But then sekarang kayak bomat. Karena kayak jadi kayak it's just a normal thing. Karena kayak makin kesini makin banyak gitu orang yang nikah kan. Jadi sekarang udah be aja. Tapi awalannya jujur it did freak me out karena like it's like you know what I mean? Like
I know.
the concept of someone lo kenal misalkan masih SMA gitu loh, like you guys kayak kita belajar IPS bareng gitu loh di sekelas bahkan, and then you went on like lo udah nikah sekarang kayak like you have a husband.
Oh my god, like I remember when you were picking your nose in class.
No, literally like kayak suami, apaan kayak
ada anak.
Like see like the concept of marriage itu udah kacau kan, and then they have children.
Like, what do you mean? You have a mini you running around?
No, literally
like you can take care of people?
I don't think you can. Yeah, but that's
No, that is true. Karena apalagi sekarang I see people that are younger than me lagi mau nikah. And then itu kayak am I the one left behind or
kan kayak you start to think that maybe I'm the problem.
No, for real.
Which is crazy, but I don't think so sih. I don't think that kayak we are the problem.
I think I am.
Everyone kayak semua well, let's not. Karena jujur aja, I do think everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own something. Kayak just because A atau B udah nikah doesn't mean that you should also. Kayak mungkin aja mereka who knows. Mungkin aja mereka dipaksa. Mungkin aja mereka yang kayak emang udah pengen kayak apa ya? Tahu gak sih the term kebelet nikah? Kayak udah kebelet banget gitu loh. Dan mereka udah gak bisa tahan atau mereka emang udah mampu, udah bisa secara duniawi apapun lah gitu. So maybe that's just them. I think that's also something that people kayak it's important to reflect kalau orang-orang tuh mulai ngebandingin diri mereka sendiri to someone else. Do you actually think when something happens to other people yang lo pengen, lo can you handle what they have to go through to be in that situation? Kayak misalkan you're jealous of someone yang udah nikah gitu.
Yeah.
Terus misalkan si A yang jealous sama si B. A udah temenan sama si B lama dan B akhirnya bisa nikah duluan walaupun A yang udah lebih kebelet nikah gitu. Kalau misalkan A bisa tukeran sama B posisinya in terms of like where they are in life gitu. Jadi biar si A bisa nikah seperti B. Kira-kira A bisa nggak nge-handle what it is yang si B have to handle in their position? Kayak that's also something yang aku rasa sih orang-orang kurang introspeksi ya.
Bener sih, karena everyone wants a long-term relationship, tapi nobody talks about how di long-term relationship mungkin itu kadang emang itu ada banyak pengampunan, a lot of forgiveness, which is I don't know, I think ya, nggak tahu kalau ini mungkin I'm a bit, okay guys, maybe ini oversharing, tapi I've only been in long-term relationships my whole life, kayak semuanya itu kayak 2 tahun plus. Jadi kayak what comes with long-term relationship itu yang paling I feel like Gen Z is not so good at is forgiveness. Kayak your partner kalau does one thing wrong, itu kayak langsung kayak bye, you know. And mungkin itu kalau misalnya lagi awal-awal dia udah salah gitu kayak ya pastinya jangan sama dia, kayak artinya nggak pas. Tapi kayak kalau misalnya ya udah 1 year into the relationship, abis itu dia tiba-tiba ada kesalahan kan, bukan kesalahan kecil ya, bukan selingkuh, itu beda cerita.
Nah,
Itu beda cerita.
Itu beda sih.
Kesalahan kecil, kadang sampai bisa putus, tapi kayak that's what's important is that you kind of have to put in the work. And people get jealous, they're like, oh ini kok A, B udah nikah,
Exactly.
tapi aku belum.
The work.
Iya kan, tapi kamu juga ada siap belum untuk masukin effortnya yang mereka sudah masukin.
I think kayak the work is such a good way to kayak kontekstualisasi everything ya, karena kayak orang-orang worknya tuh beda, workloadnya tuh beda.
Yeah.
Mungkin kayak tadi balik lagi kayak si A sama B gitu kan.
Yeah.
Kayak si B tuh workloadnya mungkin kayak A nggak bakal bisa tahu karena everything itu kan kayak pribadinya B gitu loh. Maksudnya kayak hal-hal yang personal to B gitu.
Yeah.
Dan A-nya mungkin ngeliatnya cuma dari the surface, dari permukaannya aja. Mungkin dari permukaannya dan dari cara si B mengutarakan permukaannya itu, it looks very nice. It looks very like kayak jadi A-nya pikir kayak si B mah dia apa gampang dibeliin ini itu gampang, sekarang udah nikah. Gue kapan gitu kan. It's just like kayak okay, B itu tuh it's like the villain in your life. Terus mau gimana? Kan itu masih temen lo.
Yeah.
Itu just apakah B bukan someone that you care about? Apakah B isn't someone that like you do want to see well in your life? Kayak orang-orang tuh suka kayak you want something so bad from someone else that you forget like lah itu kan juga masih orang. Mereka juga ada kesusahannya. Ini itunya in their lives yang mungkin nggak gitu nice. Like don't forget about that.
Exactly. There's this one quote which I really love. It's like, when you see somebody have something that you want, don't get jealous. Instead, take it as a sign that it's actually possible for you to have it too.
100% agree.
Yeah, kan?
I'll add to your quote
Yeah.
with mine, which I would say kayak lately motto gue like with anything gitu.
Yeah,
Comparison is a thief of joy.
that's true. Bener
It's
sih.
just like
Bener.
nggak usah banding-bandingin, mind your own business, stay in your lane as best as you can, of course.
Yeah.
And you'll get there, I promise. Just believe in yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself.
Bener sih, bener. I think one of the happiest times I've ever been in my life itu pas aku delete social media tuh kayak 6 bulan. 6 bulan ini tahun 2019 kayaknya.
Jujur social media really does help in that the less of it
Iya.
will make you happier sih. Kayak especially with that comparison, kayak kalau mulai banding-bandinginnya itu tuh, sumpah itu sama sekali nggak ngebantu social
Iya.
media, sama sekali.
Tidak.
Even right now as we speak, you mentioned earlier, aku nggak buka your IG story, right?
Oh iya.
itu high key karena emang lately aku kayak lagi bener-bener ngurangin my IG use, specifically Instagram ya, specifically Instagram, karena kayak you start seeing everyone's lives.
Yeah.
For one, itu sih yang tadi kan kayak ngebanding-bandingin
Yeah.
people's lives with yourself, which again is never a good thing.
Yeah.
The second thing for me, kenapa ngurangin IG itu karena, do you ever feel like you know all these people
Yeah.
yang lu follow, terus at a certain point, the only way lo tahu mereka lagi ngapain di kehidupan mereka itu dari apa yang mereka kasih lihat di story mereka atau apa yang mereka kayak post lah di manapun itu. At least kalau ini ngomongin konteksnya IG ya.
Yeah.
Dan kalau IG kan jadi kayak it's very romanticized or very like kayak it's very glamorous,
Yeah.
you know. Kayak jujur aja itu juga I don't like it.
Really?
I don't like it. Kayak misalkan you deh ya, like we see each other from time to time, tapi kayak nggak gitu sering.
Yeah.
Sebenarnya, maybe jangan you sih. You're a bit of a bad example, because we are good, we're close.
Okay.
We are close. Tapi misalkan kayak temen SMA lah gitu.
Yeah.
Kayak temen SMA yang udah jarang kontak-kontakan.
Yeah.
Terus kayak we're still good friends gitu loh. Kayak
Yeah.
misalkan aku WA mereka juga bakal jawab, kita bisa ngobrol gitu kan. Cuman at a certain point kita nggak gitu sering catch up atau nggak gitu sering tektokan karena mungkin aku yang kesibuk atau dia yang sibuk, jadi maksudnya it's just life, it happens. And then I start to just only know what's going on in their lives dari story.
Yeah.
It feels like I don't like it. It feels,
I get that.
you know what I mean?
Ngerti dan aku juga gak kayak I will have to agree karena aku juga gak suka banget karena kayak people sharing too much online karena orang-orang merasa kayak mereka udah tahu lo padahal mereka nggak tahu apa-apa.
Iya, dan mungkin emang kayak apa yang lo udah masukin di story itu is a part of your life or like sesuatu yang kayak emang is coming from you gitu kan. Cuman I like it more when you tell me.
Exactly.
I like it when misalkan kayak gini gitu, kayak kita nongki aja gitu terus ngobrol for hours, kayak that's what I love. Kayak just catch up aja. Oh my god, hahaha, ingat gak sih? Ini maksudnya kayak it's so cliche, tapi kayak that's what life is about for me, you know?
Ya, kayak sekarang itu kayak you find out first dari sosmed daripada orangnya sendiri. And then jadinya kayak it's I don't know how to say this, tapi kayak ngerasanya kayak you have these relationships with these people tapi you really don't.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
The way I say it, it's like, okay, ini konteks because I'm like a bit of a K-pop fan. Kayak it's a kayak parasocial.
Yeah.
It's a term itu
Yeah,
kan, kayak parasocial relationship, kayak kenal tapi nggak kenal rasanya. But you actually do know these people, like kayak at least for me, kayak I went to school with these people. Kayak kita SMA gitu kan. Tapi rasanya agak kayak parasocial, which is weird. Jadi I just like I miss the intimacy-nya gitu loh, which I love also.
Is it because of do you merasa ini karena Gen Z's disconnect? Have you heard about this whole like Gen Z doesn't have community?
Oh right, yeah.
The epidemic.
Yeah, kayak there's no spaces, kayak there's no like third spaces gitu lah.
Iya. Kayak Gen Z itu kayak jarang banget kayak saling ngebantu gak sih? Kayak bisa lihat banget
the concept of like gotong royong gitu.
Gak ada.
Yeah.
Semuanya individualistic banget. Kayak misalnya temen minta di pick up dari bandara, itu zaman sekarang itu siapa yang mau ke itu?
Iya, Grab aja, ngapain?
Iya.
Ada juga kereta itu dari ke BNI juga ada gitu.
Iya. Kayak gak ada konsep saling ngebantu. Do you think mungkin karena like social media has affected that?
I think yes and no. I think kalau itu lebih kayak technology sih.
Really?
Everything kayak maksudnya itu yang aku bilang kan, kayak lo naik aja kereta bandara ke BNI City juga gampang, terus naik MRT ke situ, dari mana ke situ gitu kan. Kayak the concept of like everything now being so accessible.
Yeah.
And everything tuh bener-bener literally kayak you open your phone and it's done.
Yeah.
Kayak pesen, bahkan kayak pernah gak sih kayak mesen Grab for someone, tapi mereka kayak in a completely different city. Or at least for me, I have. Kayak aku pas masih kuliah di Jogja, terus aku kayak mesen Grab or like Gojek something gitu. Terus dari karena bisa dari Jogja tapi itu di Jakarta, kayak aku semuanya yang sendiri gitu, kayak nggak harus minta bantuan orang or something. I think there's also something to do with that. Tapi at the same time, karena sudah sangat terbiasa doing everything on your own dan individualismnya ini, jadinya lama-kelamaan I think Gen Z ya specifically jadi terlalu terbiasa tanpa ada kebutuhan untuk community, which I think is really bad. Tapi at the same time sebagai seorang Gen Z, it is hard not to kayak kebawa arus individualism ya, karena you kind of do have to be a bit kayak at least kayak the things that kayak like survivalness-nya gitu loh. Dengan individualism itu sangat membantu loh. Tapi yang pasti juga you still need community karena kayak as people emang butuh.
Tapi I also think especially karena these parasocial relationships, orang-orang udah burnt out dari itu, mereka ngerasa kayak gak ada energi lagi untuk bikin komunitas jadinya. Udah kayak bersosialisasi, padahal enggak kan?
Enggak. Kayak sosialisasi and community I think are two different things. Kayak when you socialize atau kayak sebenarnya sosialisasi itu lebih kayak berinteraksi sih ya sebenarnya. Karena kayak kalau bersosialisasi aja tuh berarti ya istilahnya lo ngobrol sama mbak-mbak kasir atau kayak mas-mas dimanapun udah dibilang community, which I feel like kurang. Community is when you're actually there for one another, yang lebih bermakna gitu loh. Ada maknanya, there you go. It's a lot more meaningful. Sekedar kayak kau bersosialisasi aja ya kayak there's nothing to it in my eyes at least. Mau ngobrol doang tapi nggak ada bebannya gitu loh, nggak ada bobotnya. There's something I saw on TikTok actually. The price of community is inconvenience.
That's actually a good way to put it.
Kan?
Bener.
And I think kenapa Gen Z itu sekarang sangat anti community is because technology, baik lagi, has made everything convenient.
Bener sih.
Jadi sekalinya sesuatu inconvenient, ngapain? It's not worth it. Kayak lagi misalkan the example yang ngejemput orang di airport gitu kan. Kayak ya lu tinggal pesenin Grab aja, Gojek aja daripada harus jauh-jauh ngapain. Meanwhile pun juga gue lagi sibuk di sini, lagi ngurusin apa daripada kayak
bener.
There's that also.
Jadinya males-malesan juga karena especially sekarang kita lihat teknologi. There's actually this like interesting thing that I've noticed. Kita kan sekarang lihat ada ChatGPT AI. Itu kan bisa ditanyain apa-apa aja kan. Like literally anything. Dan jadinya orang kayak sekarang nggak bisa bikin decisions for themselves.
Oh my god. Itu gila sih. Kayak the people yang kayak beli telur nggak ya? Atau ini enggak ya, maksudnya kayak like the smallest chore or like kayak dikit-dikit tuh langsung ChatGPT or something. Kayak how did you manage to live up to this point? Kayak,
no, seriously.
Like what are you doing?
Dan jadinya kayak your confidence itu affected banget gak sih?
Banget.
Karena how you are not making any decisions for yourself. Kayak gak ada keputusan untuk diri sendiri, gak ada responsibilitas untuk diri sendiri.
Responsibility sih, kayak I think orang-orang juga suka males responsibility-nya. Jadi kalau misalkan mereka nanya ChatGPT, rasanya kayak, oh ya itu kan ya ChatGPT yang nyuruh gue, mana gue tahu lah gitu. But like no, like you're the one who prompted the questions. Kayak lo yang nanya, lo masih yang bertanggung jawab. Jadi ya, like pun bahkan ChatGPT is not meant to kayak make your life do your life for you. It's supposed to make your life easier or like do certain things for you, it's not to replace your brain. You're supposed to still have a brain.
Exactly. I remember that it was bad. I like how you still have a brain and you're just like
I mean like you're supposed to, ya nggak sih?
Iya bener, kan yang bikin juga ChatGPT kan juga manusia.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Tapi ya Gen Z kayak gitu, abis itu mereka bingung, kok aku insecure banget ya? Ya kenapa? Pikir ya, kalau gak bikin putusan untuk diri sendiri, kalau gak ada harga diri, kalau gak ada responsibilitas, no amount of affirmations will save you from this, okay? No matter how many times kamu lihat ke dalam, what's kaca? Mirror.
Glass?
Oh, cermin.
Cermin. Bruh.
Beberapa kali kamu lihat ke cermin bilang, aku cantik, aku mampu, aku successful. Tapi kalau kamu tidak mengambil aksi, tidak mengambil responsibilitas dan gak hargain diri sendiri, it's not gonna work.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. I think kalau konteksnya ChatGPT, in my opinion ya, aku rasa sih sebagai seorang Gen Z, it's less of the Gen Zs actually yang segitu reliant on ChatGPT.
Really?
In my experience lebih banyak millennials or like millennial ke atas sih sebenarnya.
Really?
Kayak kalau Gen Z, I think you know like the term woke.
Yeah.
Kayak Gen Z tuh lebih, oke mungkin jangan woke sih, like, kayak lebih sadar aja sih sebenarnya. Lebih sadar is to like, kalau ChatGPT isn't there to like replace, it's there to aid. Whereas mungkin millennials lebih, ini bukannya aku nyalahin a certain generation atau gimana ya, tapi maksudnya kayak from my experience, millennials yang lebih sering, you know yang kayak even with like the AI art, orang-orang gitu kan, kayak I think kalau millennials tuh lebih nggak sesadar Gen Z as to like, kalau AI itu bukannya, it's not a toy.
Yeah.
It's not a toy. I think people tend to mistake AI as like you can literally do anything with it. Tapi there's also consequences. It's not like AI is entirely ethical either sebenarnya kan sekarang, like or like sustainable. Like I'm not trying to get into all that conversation. Tapi ya, you know, like I think Gen Z is doing pretty good sih actually. If I do say so myself.
Tapi kamu sering lihat gak sih kayak di sosmed memesnya kayak, oh me telling ChatGPT about my day, me running to ChatGPT every time I have a minor inconvenience.
Itu sadly inevitable.
Yeah.
What's the word in bahasa? Tidak
okay.
bisa. Okay. It's inevitable. I think kalau kayak gitu ya. Tapi the way I see it itu lebih kayak it's a lot more, it's a lot safer, I think, daripada yang kayak people using AI to literally like every waking decisionnya tuh dari ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Daripada kayak mereka literally replacing otak mereka, yang mereka udah sekolah, yang orang tua mereka bahkan udah sekolahin, yang udah disusah payah biar jadi manusia yang berguna dan ber whatever di masyarakat, you know. I think daripada yang kayak gitu, mending, karena I think also your example tuh lebih kayak for therapy gak sih?
Iya.
Atau kayak curhatan gitu. Which I think goes back also to the individualism, atau kayak the community, like the lack of community even. Kayak sayangnya ya karena nggak ada community, jadi orang-orang kayak gitu yang kayak, oh what should I do about this, what should I do about that, jadinya malah ke ChatGPT, which is sad. Tapi ya makanya that's the point gitu.
Ini jadi AI banget ya. Tapi you know, speaking of AI, kayak ever since AI ini keluar, sekarang jadinya job market kayaknya jadi lebih padat ya. Kayak demand-nya udah gak terlalu gede for people to work, karena I mean work is now more efficient, jauh lebih gampang, dan a lot of tasks juga bisa di replace sama AI. Sebagai kita kan baru-baru saja juga lulus, kayak bukan baru-baru saja sih, tapi kayak kita lumayan newly graduated kan, dan pas
lumayan
kita,
fresh grad.
Iya lumayan. Pas kita mulai kuliah, AI belum se-prominent as it was now.
Sama sekali enggak sih.
Jadi kayak aku mungkin kayak belajar tentang AI itu hanya towards the end of my uni years. Kayak first, ya kan? Itu when it started picking up traction. Jadi kita nggak terlalu belajar how to deal with that and how to face that. Dan sekarang kita here in this job market out in the open. Kamu ngerasanya gimana sih?
Kalau dari pengalamanku, AI itu baru bener-bener, like you say right, kayak the end of your studies aku juga. Tapi itu in particular, AI itu mulai banyak yang make lah ya. Itu pas aku lagi skripsian. Lagi skripsian. Dan ini tuh udah mulai banyak tuh kayak dosen-dosen gue ngomong kayak jangan pakai AI, itu plagiarism, itu maksudnya kayak banyak lah, maksudnya kayak apa ya, secara ethicalnya itu tuh masih, ethicsnya tuh masih lagi banyak diperdebatin lah in academia especially pada zaman itu. Dan jujur aja orang-orang juga masih kurang paham ya, apalagi aku juga yang kayak udah udah keburu with my work and all, kayak udah sibuk with my work. Dan aku persis juga someone yang I like writing. Jadi sebenarnya pas aku skripsian tuh I was really enjoying it. Jujur aja. Dan once I heard about AI, I think at first when I first heard AI, aku yang kayak I don't know what this is, I'm not gonna touch it. And I think along the line, lama-lama kayak ChatGPT makin besar, makin lebih susah di-avoid, karena jujur juga kepo at certain point. And then it was only when I actually entered the job market baru mulai beneran pakai AI, which I am really grateful for. Karena kayak I think sekarang, especially with my time in academia, pas aku S1 gitu, the way that I see AI itu lebih sebagai pembantu. Bukan, karena orang-orang suka bikin kan kayak like make a whole essay atau kayak ngerjain tugas whatever mereka in its entirety dari AI gitu kan. Dan aku sama sekali nggak memandang AI seperti itu. Aku memandang lebih yang kayak misalkan not to say I always use AI ya, tapi kayak when I do use it itu lebih yang kayak misalkan ada spelling check nggak ya, atau kayak is this good enough, or like kayak apa sih, kayak word like proofread, lebih kayak gitulah, mesti kayak just to see it gitu loh, karena there are those kinds of tools as well outside of ChatGPT. Dan it is scary sih ya, how much getting better it is, atau kayak apa ya, the improvements that AI has made over the years is pretty scary. Dan actually not pretty scary, it is really scary because it's starting to get really like human-like. You know, there's that video yang kayak I think it went viral on Twitter for a while, yang ada feature ChatGPT yang kayak orang ngomong gitu. Terus tiba-tiba robotnya batuk, or like kayak ketawa, like giggling gitu, like it's so like what the hell, why are you?
We're living in her.
No, literally. So like it can be pretty scary.
With all these changes happening dalam society, dengan semua perubahan ini dalam society kita, kamu ngerasa itu kayak kita harus ngapain ya sebagai Gen Z untuk menavigasi ini?
I think we should surrender.
Just
kidding. No, we shouldn't surrender actually. Jangan pasrah. Sebenarnya I think the last thing one should do is to pasrah. Karena I also believe that a lot of the things, kayak banyaknya perubahan-perubahan yang sedang terjadi dan masa hidup kita sekarang, apalagi sekarang gitu kan. I think banyak dari perubahan itu tuh hal-hal yang dari all these big companies, all these like tech giants. Like you don't want like a nerdy tech geek from, I don't know, a certain country to like rule over your life, right? Like you don't want to just like lease your life away to them gitu kan. Jadi sebenarnya just keep fighting. I do think there is merit. Like life is worth living. Life is worth living. But it is. And people tend to forget that. Kayak life is worth living, y'all. So let's live.
Ya, bener sih. Kayak harus lebih smart. Like be more cautious with everything.
Jangan mau digoblokin, there you go. Jangan mau digoblokin, kayak when you start to do this and that, then kayak complacent also. People tend to get complacent. Sorry, I don't know what the word that is in Indo.
Jangan. Iya, jangan gampang dibawa arus.
Jangan kebawa arus. Exactly.
Kalau kamu bisa kasih misalnya kayak nasihat kepada diri kamu sendiri yang lebih muda dan waktu itu mungkin masih takut dengan umur kepala dua ya.
Oke.
Apa yang akan?
Berarti belum kepala 2 lah ya.
Yang udah mulai deket.
Nggak usah takut. Nggak usah terlalu overthinking.
Yeah.
Nggak usah terlalu berespektasi banyak juga. I think my problem ya, karena ini kan ya kayak what would I say to myself gitu kan when I'm younger. I think my problem tuh kebanyakan overthinking karena there was so much happening atau kayak I had so many worries, I had so many fears. Sampai sekarang sebenarnya masih sih.
Yeah.
Tapi sekarang ya lebih tua, lebih paham lah ya. Udah nggak segoblok dulu lah. Ya. Jujur masih goblok. Karena kayak masih banyak overthinkingnya itu, masih banyak hal-hal yang aku takutin jujur aja. Dan I would say jangan kebanyakan overthinking karena I think because of that jadinya malah I didn't end up living the life that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Or like I didn't do it to the fullest. Karena kebanyakan overthinking atau karena kebanyakan mungkin kalau aku this or that jadinya malah I think people will say something yang aku gak suka or like people will say this or that bakal kritik dan that's no way to live life.
Yeah.
That really is no way to live life. To lead life by fear. Dari ketakutanmu itu gak bakal kemana-mana. Dan jujur aja, I ended up not going anywhere. Karena ketakutan itu, karena those fears. Jadi, I would tell him, gak usah overthinking. Jalanin dulu aja. Kayak, it doesn't have to be perfect. Gak harus sempurna. Jalanin aja, you'll see where it goes from here. And if it's messy or if it's bad, at least you tried.
Yeah.
At least you did something. Daripada diem aja in one place because of those fears. Like kayak paralyzed.
Yeah.
Karena ketakutan itu. Dan jujur aja nggak worth it in the end. Nggak worth it. Kayak would you rather lead life with regrets or without? Aku sih nggak ya. Aku sih nggak mau ada penyesalan.
Better gagal daripada stuck.
I think kegagalan itu juga sesuatu yang people have a really bad definition on or like have a bad take on.
Yeah.
Lo bakalan gagal. Akan ada kegagalan in your life. It's not something that you should 100% avoid or fear. Ya fear dikit-dikit boleh lah kayak nggak mau gagal gitu. Itu nggak apa-apa. Cuman tapi kayak don't revolve your decisions atau kayak everything in your life tuh karena kamu nggak mau gagal.
Yeah.
That's so wrong.
Jangan sampai itu diktasi hidup kamu.
Exactly. Jangan sampai itu ngedikte keputusan-keputusan yang kamu akan bikin in your life.
Yeah. Kalau aku kasih advice to my younger self atau ya mungkin untuk yang juga yang hampir 20, yang baru 20 itu jangan takut sih bener karena kayaknya semua orang pikir kayak udah 20 tahun nih harusnya hidup gue udah perfect, harusnya udah kayak I don't know why, tapi pas aku masih kayak kecil banget kayak 10 tahun aku pikir kalau udah 20 tahun itu artinya udah nikah ya, udah punya kerjaan.
Kayak apa ya udah I have my own apartment, di luar negeri, udah kaya, mampus, udah mapan gitu kan, udah everything all set. Guess what?
You're not gonna wait to hear about this.
Yeah, like you don't want to fail. Well, I got some bad news for you. But tapi lagi-lagi like failure isn't the end to everything. Anything. I'm a big believer actually of failure being the beginning to everything. Kayak there's so much that you can work with failure. Or kalau kayak when something isn't working out for you, that means everything else is open for you. You know, like I'm a big believer of that.
Exactly.
And I think you should too.
Actually, that's a very interesting karena jadi kayak this is again oversharing. Tapi kayak dulu aku aku kan harusnya kuliah di Australia kan, you remember that?
Right.
Harusnya aku ke Australia, dan habis itu gak jadi. Habis itu waktu itu aku kan sedih banget karena aku kira ya aku mau ke sana, tapi jauh-jauh. And then ya gak jadi. I did my first year di Indo karena my parents wanted me close to home. And then waktu itu aku pikir kayak oh my god, kayak it's the end of the world for me.
Right.
Tapi malah jadinya karena aku stay back di Indo, aku jadi lebih aktif dalam modeling. Habis itu pandemic hit. Pas pandemic, obviously, pandemic was something very scary.
Yeah.
And I was kind of grateful that, of course, I was back home. Tapi not only that, karena aku back home, dan belum bisa keluar negeri lagi, karena walaupun kan harusnya second year udah keluar negeri, malah masih di rumah aja. Aku malah di rumah, bosen bikin TikTok. Dan karena aku bikin TikTok itu, jadinya I'm here.
Like literally this podcast.
Literally, this is the effect of my TikTok.
Yeah, everything.
Iya, tapi bener. And then also, actually no, a very important one. Aku pas 17 tahun, 17 enggak, kayak aku pas SMA deh pokoknya.
Yeah.
Ada satu cowok, aku crash out-nya parah banget. Aku crashed out so bad. Tapi karena crash out-nya parah banget, that was when I first started modeling.
I do remember the story.
Do you know the story? You know the story!
Jujur tak?
Iya, aku kayak crash out-nya parah banget. Tapi kayak, ya untung itu terjadi. Kalau enggak, where would I be now? Failure is, bener sih, failure is not the end of the world.
Another quote also, ini dari Kali Uchis new album. Rejection is the highest form of protection.
Yeah,
Kayak,
definitely.
let's say kamu di-reject dari kesempatan untuk kuliah offline di Australia. You're maybe protected from, the bad things that could happen by living in Australia. You don't know.
Exactly.
Jadi kayak, it's always something kayak God has a plan for you.
Exactly,
Because
exactly.
you're protected.
Exactly. And I mean, I could always go anytime again.
Exactly.
Like life isn't as short. Life is not as short as people say it is. Like,
Oh yeah, I think that's also a thing yang kayak with marriage, right?
Yeah.
What we were talking about earlier, the concept of marriage and how orang-orang tuh kebelet nikah banget.
yeah,
I think itu agak old fashioned. Karena dulu orang-orang mungkin mau nikah karena lebih ada jaminannya.
yeah,
Lebih banyak ada jaminannya to a better life, life yang lebih stabil, lebih gimana. Sekarang mungkin alasan kenapa marriage udah nggak se-attractive karena itu udah it's not as reliable, udah nggak it doesn't really ngejamin anything.
yeah,
Tapi on the other side of that, I think is also marriage itu something yang kayak when you are married, you're supposed to have children. You're supposed to be dedicated to your partner. Sorry. Partner itu pasti. Maksudnya kayak lebih domestik lah kehidupannya gitu loh. Yang harus bener-bener di satu point lah gitu. And you're stuck there. Bagi sebagai, I think as a woman you can relate to that nggak sih?
Yeah.
Kayak the expectation of like, kalau lo nikah, betul harus punya anak, harus berumah tangga,
yeah.
a household gitu kan.
You can do anything, right?
You can do anything,
Yeah.
kayak just because udah nikah does not mean nggak bisa S2, nggak bisa S3 gitu.
Yeah.
Kayak bahkan these days, I think also sih kayak a lot of like my peers yang udah nikah, dikit banget sih udah punya anak. Kayak makanya itu kan kayak ada shiftnya juga. Kalau dulu mungkin orang-orang dimikir, oh kalau lo nikah berarti lo harus punya anak.
Iya.
Sekarang sama sekali udah enggak.
Beda sih.
Udah beda.
Ya, beda zaman, beda things. And that's all for today. Thank you all so much for watching and see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.